Do San Tol is the first time we really get to see some interesting moves in Taekwondo in patterns, and the first one of which I'd like to talk about is wedging block. Now, here, the application of this is someone trying to grab you, trying to grab your shoulders. But don't forget, this is a snowplow maneuver. This is not trying to block each arm individually. You're trying to push forwards the same way that you'd be pushing forwards as a snowplow. So that's why it's called a wedging block. You're providing a wedge. You're trying to get in there. You're not blocking those hands. Okay? Here. We rise, we cross this way, and we push forwards. The important thing to remember is that we're in a relaxed position. We keep our hands facing each other. It's crossing over the solar plexus, rising as we rise up to the top of the shoulders, and then pushing down, and most importantly forwards, out from our body to intercept those two hands coming towards us. Now, the first move in Do San Tol is a lovely little high outer forearm side block. It's here. Now, high section means that the top of the thumb is level with the eyes, which should bring the outer forearm to around about neck height, which is still, of course, high section. Everything else stays pretty much the same as you'd imagine. When you're crossing your hands, it's chambering from the opposite chest line before coming up. Here, don't pull your shoulder back. Don't bring it any more than a natural movement backwards. Here, and deliver through. Make sure the wrists are back to back, and the hand that is blocking is the one that's on the inside. Here. Nice and easy. Now, another interesting move we have in Do San Tol is straight fingertip thrust. Now, if I said do a straight fingertip thrust, this would be what you do, but it's not the move that we have in the pattern. Through here. This left hand, this back hand is blocking down. It's blocking a punch coming onto our center line, which means this palm has to be on our center line. Now, if we brought our arm to 90 degrees, you could see it would come off. Our fingertips would be past our shoulder line. Instead, we keep this left shoulder relaxed while we are still full facing. It's just a little bit more relaxed than normal, and you can see the arm comes away and the palm should be on center line as we deliver. The hand coming over the front, remember to pull your fingertips back. Try and get those flat over the top here, because if we're striking with one finger, we can do some damage to that. Okay, push it back. Here, and it's striking into the solar plexus of our target, so it's therefore on the center line. You can see here, it's coming across my body. Now, when we're delivering the technique, we want to make sure both hands, until the execute stage, are rotating together. So, relaxed position, they come down, they're going to circle up. Now, it's important to try and keep them in check, so we're not bringing them out here, because we're not striking in across our body. Here, their natural position. Our body's going to be catching them up. We're not pulling them back. I'm not pulling them back into myself. We're just allowing, wherever the technique is before, to my hips to catch up with the arms. Okay? Circle through and back. We're not, again, circling them behind us. That's not what we're doing. We're not pulling the shoulders back. I'm not pulling my shoulders back because it creates tension, which we don't need. Here, nice and loose, nice and small circle in front of us, and then as we deliver, fingertips come through and the front hand strikes. Now, I'm not wearing a dobok top, which makes it a bit harder to demonstrate, but these fingertips should not be pointing out the side. They should be underneath the arm that is striking, and they should be just a little bit away. Now, when you have a dobok top on, the easiest way to do it is just to keep your fingertips so they're touching the bottom there, here, and it's under your elbow. Now, Do San Tol is also the first time we have a release. Now, the release is pretty easy to do. What you need to do is imagine there is an infinitely thin pivot point that comes from underneath your fingers all the way into your arm here, and you need to rotate around that. So this is the rotation that's happening. What makes it look like I'm pushing downwards is the fact that my rear foot is stepping into 45 degrees. The heel of the rear foot is going to lift, the front foot stays planted on the floor this way. Here, and I rotate. So my little finger should be high in the air, I should still be pushing it forwards, and nothing is more important than rotating this hand nice and quick. from the release position, what we have is a back fist. Here. Now, written in the pattern instructions is written as, first of all, these two, officially one move, and also there is officially no sine wave on the back fist side strike. Whether or not you agree with that is a difficult one, but that's what's written, that's what we'll do. Through here, try and keep your body nice and flat, and you're bringing your hands up and through onto the target. Now when you're coming through with the back fist, the attacking hand is on the outside, both palms facing away. It comes up to ear height, and then we drive through. You want to be striking with the two knuckles on the hand here. Now what happens is if you keep your hand flat, you'll notice this finger, this knuckle, tends to stick out a little bit more. So you take this, I'll try and, it's difficult because I don't have a flat thing, but you just rotate it. Can you see that rotation? Just 10 degrees over, so that now if I was to lay my fist against the wall, it would be flat on, and we're striking with the two knuckles rather than just one. We also have kicks in the first time in Do San Tul. So after the wedging block we have front kick. Here obviously I'm slowing it down, but as a fast punch, or two punches in fast motion. Now let's talk about the front kick to begin with. So from wedging block, here, try and pay attention to my standing leg on the floor. It comes up, and then as my kick comes through, it's just going to drop, and that'll give me a little bit of stability. It's not a sine wave per se, because we don't have sine waves on, say, the side kick, but it is just a natural movement to give ourselves more stability. Front snap kick is a very short range technique. It uses the ball of the foot, so you've got to pull your toes back, and it is not extending. Okay, you must keep your standing foot so that it is facing straight on, and therefore your hips will be facing straight on. This way. Nice and easy. Sine wave before the first punch. Very quickly, the final thing I want to talk about in Do San Tul is this change. Okay, now we have a natural hip rotation on the final move. What we used to do, old style, and we're trying to come through here, but it doesn't create a comfortable position for us to be in. Okay, so foot comes to here, and the foot on the floor is just going to make a nice natural arc. Step straight to, transfer the weight. Remember, this is still in the relaxed phase. As we step up, it's going to come no more than half a foot in front of this plane this way. Okay, natural movement, and then we drop ourselves down. That's why we don't need to be rotating, because we're putting ourselves in the wrong position. If we want to rotate on an L stance, it's a bit better because you can put your weight on the outside of that front foot. But here, sitting stance, it's all about dropping down to the technique.